Okay, I quit trying to figure this out a while back. So just a little update on what's going on our southern border, and what's actually happened is they've kicked some people out there. They took everything from them and moved them, and it's further from the border, and now it's like 100 miles. Which I'm gonna get into some talk about a brake chamber issue that I had too, to give y'all a heads up on how much it costs versus how much it is to do it yourself. Because I actually paid somebody to do it. I was at the end of my day, I didn't feel like doing it. So sometimes, it's worth paying somebody, and then but at the same time, it's a stupid tax when you leave your spare at home. But I didn't plan to mess with it. You think you have a newer truck, you got to keep spare parts on board. But the good news is, like, if I had been running to Colorado, I'd have had everything. If I would have, like I said, everything's in the shop that would have helped me with that. So spare Cajun bolts, which I have one on each one, but the spare brake chamber, clavises, all that stuff, left at the shop. So I paid for that to be done. But back to the border talk for a second, because that affects everybody, whether you know it or not, whether you want it to affect you or not. If you have unskilled labor come into the workforce, first thing I'll try to do is put them in a truck, so we'll have more wrecks again. That'll happen. Second thing is they'll take any type of well, you call it unskilled labor, really it's skilled labor, but they'll give them any type of construction that you're doing, any kind of landscaping, anything that you could think that you got it going on with, they will take your job. So there are no jobs for an influx of people right now in the United States. Plus it's winter time. Yeah, everything's slow. Like that dude right there walking across the parking lot. Everything's slow. So yeah, they closed down a migrant camp, moving back 100 miles from the border. So now if they want to go to the border, they went in there, they took out the porta potties, they took out everything, which they were overflowing. It was getting to be there was disease going on through the camp. They had all kinds of, like I said, they need to be quarantined, but they had all types of diseases and sicknesses that were going around, that were a potentially deadly disaster there waiting to happen. They could have all died in that shelter anyways. So now they're going to need like hazmat crews to go in there and clean the place up. But they took away the porta potties, they took away everything. They said now you got to go, and some of them didn't want to go. So you keep hearing 100 here, 150 there getting sent back. Those are the ones that are actually defying orders that they're given by the Mexican police and federales. But they want to be camped out right on the border where they can cause trouble, but they moved them 100 miles. So now it's a walk if they want to go cause trouble. And the one guy that they call Mexican Rambo down there, I'm not sure, he doesn't even know who took him. They put a hood on him and took and beat him up with, he doesn't know what, clubs, pipes, doesn't know. He's trying to stand up for the people of Mexico, and he was planning on going to another city. They wanted him to know ahead of time not to go there. So he got beat up pretty bad. I'll put a link to a guy that put up a video about that, but I've seen 3 or 4 different ones. But the Mexican people are standing up, and they're not having it. And now it looks like they're trying to work with us by moving those people 100 miles from the border. That's just a little bit of an update on that. I mean, they're getting there, and they're finding out real fast when they try to cross. They think they're going to illegally cross peacefully, and then that's what they got in their head. And they've been dropped off there. The money's been cut off. Everything's been cut off except for food and a place to be. And then all of a sudden you see their hearts break when they, oh, well, they have to explain to you, no, not them. No, that's not how it works. You don't get into this country just by walking through. There's a process. It might take months, might take this. And since you're crossing illegally, now they have the choice of putting you in jail. and sending you back immediately. And they're throwing around, they think they have a right to claim asylum. There's no right to claim asylum in the United States, especially not for economic reasons. You can claim anything you want, but then at that point, you got to prove that claim. That's what they used to do, is once they were in the country, they'd have to come back for a court date, and then you never hear from them again. Now, they're doing it on that side of the border. They're like, nope, no thank you. And so that's shut that down. But they've moved them. They've shut down the border a total now of 4 times. There's Americans that are streaming saying, hey, I can't even get back. You know, it's something that you don't want to cross unless you have to, or you need to know you could be stuck for up to 3 months on either side. And then maybe shut down for good. I've talked about that already. And I talked about the GPS already, but I'll say it again, it's just now starting to hit, you know, some of these people are starting to talk about the GPS. Listen, they're already doing training where they're shutting down GPS for planes. And that's, you know, that's military planes, but now you also got to keep in mind they're already warning some of the airlines that, hey, plan to fly without GPS. When that happened where there was an earthquake and the earth, I think it sped up or shifted or something happened so that they had to recalibrate airplanes' GPS devices because it would have had them landing on a different runway even. So they already had a problem with reconfiguring GPS, and it could have been a nightmare. Now they're going to have to fly without GPS. I would suggest to truck drivers right now, strongly suggest that you get a map book before there's a run on map books. I would suggest, highly suggest, that you get a mapping program that does not need GPS. Streets and Trips is one. Microsoft Streets and Trips. I've got version, I think one was 2000 and then 2007, then it changed and one didn't work with the other. I've got like 3 versions of it. One is on disk, the other one, the newer one, you have to download straight to your computer. I highly suggest that you use Microsoft Streets and Trips as a route planner and then write those directions down. That is how you do it. Even if you have a map book, it'll show you what, you know, you can punch in under settings, you could punch in how many, you change the parameters and put how many gallons your fuel tank holds. Then you put how many miles per gallon that your vehicle gets. Okay, just go with 6.5 miles a gallon and you'll be safe. Even if you're getting 8 or whatever, you don't want to run out. So go with 6.5 miles a gallon and go with you know, whatever your capacity of fuel is. If you got 220 gallon tanks, that's 240 gallons. And it will show you where you need to stop, the town, and then you figure out what truck stop you want to go to, either before that or at that point. I would say keep extra fuel because the GPS may affect the fuel stations, and if they don't have internet, if that messes that up, pay cash. You're gonna be set up to pay cash the way we used to a long time ago. And if EFS is down or this or that, you could have issues. I know that everybody's running on a margin, and I know we're all tight already, but it's going to get even more difficult when you have companies that are going to be telling you, hey, just get 50 gallons of fuel. Go as far as you can and call us back. And I'm not saying the sky is falling. I'm just telling you this is how it happens. This is how it works when there's an issue. So get a Streets and Trips, whatever year. If it's going to say 2018, probably the last one I think is like 2015 or 14. The Streets and Trips 2000 or 2011, any of them will work. Even if you buy the software and it's a disc set, the older disc set, it's a good program. And it'll help you in addition to your map book. then you figure out where the truck stops are in that town. I would say that you might want to practice running without GPS, because that's what they're doing. That they're even telling airlines, you know, civilian airlines, that there may not be GPS. So, and there's a military version of it, and I don't know if they'll give us access to it if the other fails. I don't know. I doubt it. I doubt it, because that's going to be encrypted, and then that would put them at risk of anybody downloading it, figuring it out, and then hacking it and giving it a problem. So, but to the brake chamber issue, if you have a newer truck, you're going to find that you have a rare brake chamber. And I've talked about this before, and I showed some tips a long time back. I'll put a link to that one too, and I'll put a link to my GPS video where I go into detail on this stuff. But on the brake chamber, the 30-30 is the old style for the rears. Okay. The front is a single chamber. They just call it brake can, you know. But the back ones, that's 30-30 is the old style, and you can pick those up for pretty cheap, you know, 40-50 bucks at a Freightliner. If you get the piggyback, the one that's just a half brake chamber, those are even cheaper. They're already caged. You can not even mess with the adjustment on your brakes. You can just change the half. I recommend doing the whole thing, but that's a quick way. Mine and most of the newer ones have 30-36 long stroke. The 30-36 long stroke brake chamber that I just bought cost me $190. Left my spare at the shop. I was refitting everything. I was worried more about putting my other stuff in my truck, my grill and stuff. I'm gonna do some videos on that. I've done some. I don't know if I'll be able to edit those or do new ones, but got a little propane grill. I don't recommend the newer ones. I'm talking about one that's an older suitcase one. You can get an adapter for it that works on a propane bottle. I'll put a link to one of them videos. Somebody's already done that. That's fine. But I was more interested in putting that in my side box than I was in trying to configure it for a brake chamber, because I had tools in there. And I figured, well, I'm not going to Colorado, so I can get my hands on a brake chamber. I can buy a brake chamber. I can have one put on. They will be available where I'm driving to. And that's what happened. So, and this dude has done photobombed me twice. I'm not letting him on my picture right now. Dude walking by. So here's what I'm doing. I had a brake chamber go out, and then the end result was I had to pay for it, and I went ahead, and since they were going to bring it to me, I paid him to put it on. Now, a brake chamber, the reason I'm showing, you know, this view I've got, I'll explain that in a minute too, because I happen to be at a shop. Okay, there's a reason I wouldn't use just any shop. So anyways, the brake chamber that I bought, the piggyback for those type, they didn't have any. They didn't have any half brake chambers at the Petro. And I shouldn't even be repping Petro right now for them to help me, because TA is the one that blew up my last truck by putting too much oil in it. I'm still mad at them. TA, you still owe me a truck. But it is a Petro. They were separate at the time, and these people are good people, so okay. So the Petro did not have the half brake chamber in stock. They only carried the full deal, 190 bucks. If I had got it at Freightliner, it would have been 160 to 170 bucks. All right, fine. So then the labor was like 2.7 hours. I'm only 5.5 miles away. I waited a good while, but it's okay because I had off-duty time. Not worried about it. The labor on it, keep in mind the brake chamber was $190 for the part. The labor was $297. So it's $300 that I could have saved, but I had done run and I was tired, and I'm like, hey, just do it. You know, no big deal. There's a $30 environmental fee, and an $18 road service mileage charge. So, you know, that's like $550 something, or $560 or something. So the brake chamber ate up almost 200 of it. Now, if I had gotten that done, I got that at a Petro. Keep in mind, there's Petros all over the place. So if there was anything wrong with the brake chamber or anything like that, they would have to warranty the work and the service. Now, a lot of things I like to help out small mom and pops, okay? But they were checked out online. They had a kind of a low rating, you know, like a 1 star, plus they had issues where people were saying on there it took forever and all this kind of stuff, and I'm like, ooh. And then, well, the shop, if you leave here and you go to, like I said, Denver, Colorado, you're not going to have any recourse against this shop. This shop's not going to be able to help you. You're going to pay for it all over again. I've got, I don't know how many day warranty plus warranty on the part from Petro, and they can send that sucker back. So I know I'm not going to have any problem that I can't deal with that's going to cost me again. Now, if I was able to cage it and was right near a Freightliner or something like that, I'd have got my own part. I'd have took care of it, but I just happen to be that far away. And also, this shop quoted me an extra $150 just to go pick up any parts I need. I thought it was a leveling valve. First thing was leaking was that. It was back feeding from the brake chamber. So it wasn't really the leveling valve. It was the brake chamber. So I asked him about that. It was $150 extra plus the labor plus the part. So the Petro was 5 miles away. Hey, have them, you know, as long as they can work on the property. Some places will tell them no at that point. I told them if they have a problem, I'm driving off this property with you and you can fix it on the roadside just like you're paying to be done, the roadside service. Doesn't matter to me. Most of these places have common sense. They know companies come in and out and have to work on their stuff. Sometimes they have their own mechanics in their own shops. But as far as a brake chamber, I had no way to go get one. I had left mine at the shop. I keep getting photobombed, dude, walking that dog. So anyway, you know, sometimes you are better off, especially like if you're just tired and don't feel like messing with it or whatever, to pay a shop bill. But you got to watch how you pay a shop bill and who you pay. See, I wound up getting a deal, you know, where they're going to and they're going to put points on my card too, so I get a shower out of it. I'm going to get points on my card, and you know, they're going to warranty the work, you know. So if you are going to pay for a shop, and if it was air valve, I could have warranted it through Freightliner. I wouldn't have mind having them change just to air valve, because that I could have dealt with. But I can't deal with the issue with a brake chamber, you know. So, but I would advise you, like I always keep one, and then you find yourself needing it. But I keep extra airlines for sure. You're not getting those out of my truck. And I keep brass, so I could have actually plugged that thing off. I could have drove. I just decided not to. But if you decide to pay a mechanic, you need to watch how much the cost is, and what the true cost is you may not have a warranty it's a 5 second warranty. Or, well, if you happen to break down back at this same shop, you know, you got to watch who you use and just how much of a deal you get. So I don't mind the $18 mileage charge and the how much per hour, because he was the same labor rate. This guy's got a shop, but it's still right at $100 an hour. It was the same with the Petro, so why not go with Petro? So I was organizing my truck. I was making good use of my time, and you know, taking care of business. This guy just came up next to me. So, other than that, yeah, as far as spare parts, I still need to do a spare parts video. I've been working. I've had an issue with the mud flaps on Freightliners are 1/4 inch bar. They break all the time, and you'll lose the flap, or you could pick it up or whatever. So after my third one, number 4, I'm going, okay, fine, this is ridiculous. I'm not doing this anymore. So I happened to be in, I think it was Jefferson, Georgia, at the Freightliner dealership. They have, I want to say they're stainless steel. I don't think they're chromed. I think they're stainless steel. Pretty sure they're stainless steel mud flap hangers. 2 bolts, nothing special, doesn't hold lights in, but they were 2 for like right at $100. Maybe they were $50 a piece. And they were so cheap that they put them on every truck they've got in the lot, and they changed them over, and you could tell they had the bolt holes from the other ones. Now on that, and I'll show it when I do it, you have to map the side of the C channel or frame, and you have to mark it, and you have to make sure that you want it in probably about a 1/4 of an inch from the end of the frame rail. But when you're drilling a frame, really back that far, they don't care how you drill it. But the DOT law is 2 inches from the top of the flange where it bends. 2 inches down from the top, 2 inches up from the bottom is where you can drill. Everything has to have a grade 8 bolt in it. You can't just have holes in your frame, because that's creating a weak spot. And also, you can you're not allowed to weld or drill the flanges. That's the top and bottom as it curved around, you know. So, because it weakens the frame. So all the holes that come in your frame on your truck, just because they're, you know, at Freightliner and that's the frame, there's no magical drill that they use that's any better than your drill. You can drill a frame to put on steps on the side of your truck, to put on step boxes. You can put on, if there's no existing holes, you can drill whatever you want. Just make sure you put a grade 8 bolt in it that's strong enough steel that it is hardened and it will hold up and not rust through as easily, but it's a higher tensile strength that it won't bend and break. It'll hold up a box, it'll hold up whatever you want to put on your frame. And you don't ever drill the top flanges for any kind of a catwalk or for anything. Get the clamp-on style catwalks, or you bolt that piece of angle iron to the outside rail of the frame rail. Make sure when you're drilling a frame that you're not drilling into your electrical or air lines on the other side. Have some common sense about you. But that far back, there's nothing back there because it's past the taillights. So, so I'm gonna pick up some warmer weather, find some time in warmer weather, and drill some holes and put actual mud flap hangers, because that's ridiculous. The angle bar crap, I'm sure everybody else is losing mud flaps too. It's really stupid that they design them that way. Other than that, it's starting to snow and rain at the same time, and you can't see it, but it's there. And I'm gonna go grab a load and, like I said, find some warmer weather than where I'm at now. Having a cigar. If you want to say something, you can. I'll be off this thing in just a little bit. It'll be a little quick live, but I wanted to bring that up about the GPS, about what's going on there. I'll put a link to the Rambo guy that got beat up. That's kind of messed up. Like I said, they jumped him dirty, put a bag on his head, all that stuff. It's this Gestapo type group they got running down there, and who knows what's going on. They got so much stuff going on. Everybody's got their hands in Mexico right now and trying to make money off of people that they're lying to and using as pawns. So anyways, smoking a Finks 1893 handmade. It's not a good cigar. I don't recommend it at all. It happens to be a smoke. It just happens to be a cigar. It doesn't even say, it says handmade. It doesn't say if it's handmade in Cuba or Mexico or where. It's just a cigar. I don't recommend it. Get a Macanudo. If I had one right now, I'd be happier. But it's a smoke, you know. So, I'm gonna have a Twix and a cigar and some coffee. This is real good coffee. But I will be doing some grilling on that camp stove though. I got plans. It's the 425B by Coleman. It's old. You're gonna find it at a yard sale. You're gonna find it, they stopped making them in 1990, but they're everywhere. Cause mine's a B, mine's rare. Mine is actually worth something, but just because it's rare. But I'd rather have, or it doesn't matter, there's a 3I one, there's a E, or everything after B, there's a C, D, E, they're all the same, and you can get a changeover, a little pipe so it doesn't run off of white gas. White gas or gasoline is what those grills run off of. You can, and they're a suitcase size. They're just the size of a suitcase. And they take the propane bottles up and use them for my single burners. And I'm gonna make a setup on the back of my frame rail, like holds a fire extinguisher on the outside, on the passenger side, and then use the catwalk with just a piece of wood on it for like a countertop. That's the plan. Because Walmart steaks are $3 for a pack of 3 breakfast steaks. Now I told you all that, and now I'm not going to be able to find them in stock. They're going to be all sold out. But Walmart sells 3 packs breakfast steaks for like $2.33 or $3. And in a truck stop, it's like 10, you know. And I'm going to be throwing some more stuff in the crock pot. I've got to get some cube steak for making a beef stew kind of thing. I don't know. Carrots, onion, potatoes, and then slow cooker pot roast liquid, 2 of those, and I'll be cooking that up in the crock pot. But I've got, for the grill, a flat iron skillet, and you've got a grill. You don't have to buy a griddle. You don't have to pay $100 for a grill. You can get a used grill. They've even got them at estate sales. You can find them at one of those places where they sell used clothes and stuff. Man, I can't even think of the word. It's a place. Man, I don't go there a lot. The thrift store. A lot of them are Goodwill. Goodwill is what they call them. So the Goodwills have those kind of camp stoves, and you can get just a pipe that goes into there instead of the tank that holds white gas, and it screws on, threads onto a little small propane bottle. And all you need is 2 of them propane bottles. One of them lasts about 5 to 8 hours. I mean, you could use them over and over and not even use them up. I don't unscrew mine, I just turn the valve off. So I've got 2 burner type ones with the burner heads on them, and I'm going to use that Coleman thing as a windscreen for now, till those run out, because I've got the older style head and the newer style head for those. Now they sell the newer style head for the propane bottles. It just screws on the top. There's a little ring on the bottom that it sticks into, and it sets it up. And a little folding aluminum table. It don't take much to grill. But like I said, get an iron skillet. A flat iron, not the ones with the lip on the edge, but just a flat iron. It's like you have a grill. There's no reason to have to pay $100 and something to grill out to save money. That's putting money out to actually save money. That's crazy. You're not saving anything. It'll take you 2 years to get your money back. So get a 2i burner of some sort, and then you can boil water to make spaghetti. You got to think of the benefits of being able to boil stuff at the same time you're cooking. So you can cook ground beef and be boiling stuff to make chili, and then throw the ground beef in it on the other burner, you know. But you get, you cook the ground beef in an actual iron skillet. It's good to have a side on that. But so yeah, so that's why I didn't use an outside shop though, and that's what's going on in my world. I'm having a Twix, a cigar, and coffee. Hope everybody's doing good. About to hit some snow. Like I said, I'm gonna need some warmer weather so I can work on this thing. I've got stuff I want to do. It's difficult to have time to edit videos. Like I told this guy the other day, that's my Achilles heel. It's finding time for editing, so I just don't. I've got videos in the can, man. I got reels and reels of that stuff. You know, just don't have time to edit them. So this live's a lot easier. Hope everybody's staying warm. If you're not, you can get a 2i burner stove if you have an emergency situation too. Say that you lose whatever kind of a gas stove or electric in your house. It's good to have one of those Coleman stoves. I'd say go pick one up. They're all over the place, but I don't recommend using that white gas because that stuff's expensive, and then you got to have a funnel and pour it in that little tank and pump up the primer and all that stuff. That's a pain. It's way better to have propane, and you can refill a small propane bottle with a bigger propane bottle, and the Flying J's actually sell propane, and you can refill a big propane bottle. Actually, you can fill a small one. You just gotta be careful because it, you know, will start leaking when it gets too much pressure, and then it'll stop. But you can refill those little green bottles. It threads to the inside of a smaller bottle. I mean, of a bigger bottle, and then to the outside of the smaller bottle. Just a little brass adapter. They sell those, and they sell the adapter for the tank for the older style Coleman stove. But I like the older style Coleman stove because they got the wind deflectors. They're the size of a suitcase. You can put stuff in them. You can put spatulas and stuff. So there's all that room in that box. So I've got my spatulas in there. You can put, it's not hot when you're done. It cools off quick. So you can put anything you want in there. Spices, whatever. I've got them in a rack in the inside of the door of my cabinet back there. But and I use those plastic totes that you get from Walmart with lids, and keep everything in plastic totes. That way, if you ever have to swap trucks, it's easier. You know, for a rental, for anything, take everything you got, all the plastic totes out, and everything moves quicker. You got to be organized. But that's helped me with organizations, plastic containers and stuff. I could show you a plastic container at some point. I've got thread tape in it, electrical tape, wire cutters, just a little Leatherman for cutting stuff, paracord, all kinds of stuff in that. But organization is key. But having a grill that is basically an empty box with 2 burners gives you the option of keeping all your spatulas in it, all kinds of stuff in it, and then you're ready to go. Like when you grill your flat iron skillet, the circle one that's got just a little bit of a lip, I think they're like 10 or 12 bucks at Walmart. Pick one of those up. That's next to it. Keep the grill in its little box, slide it out of the box, open it up, and you've got everything. And get you a little basin for a sink and a water thing with a hose, and hang it up from the back of your truck, and you can wash your hands right there. Get some Dove dishwashing liquid and a rag, you know, microfiber cloth, whatever you want to use, and that way you can instantly turn it on. It's not charcoal. That's why I'm against charcoal on the road. You got embers and stuff that makes a fire hazard with charcoal. But there was a guy grilling out the other day. I think he was using charcoal. He was in a backup and he just started grilling hot dogs. But you can take steaks, throw them in a plastic bin, and put them in your cooler on ice, and then that night grill them. You know, saves a lot. So when you won't be lazy, and you can pay for a brake chamber like I did. But anyways, look up the Coleman stove. It's the 425B is what I have, but you're not gonna find those. You're gonna find the 425 E, somewhere along that range. Any of them. They do sell a new one that actually runs right off of propane. The problem with that, and it's a good one, a 2i burner, but the problem with that is then you're right back spending $100. You know what I mean? So look for a used 2i burner camp stove. You'll find them. You could get 2 singles if you wanted to. That's kind of a pain too. I've got one hot plate that I use in my truck just in case it's snowing and I don't want to get outside or whatever, and I want to boil something. But that thing stays hot forever. It takes forever to cool off, and you'll boil water quicker on one of those little propane stoves. It puts out more gas and more heat than a home stove, a 4i burner stove, even a gas one. It's way more flame on high. You won't use it on high, and it will just about instantly get water rolling, boiling in a pot. I cook in a really big stainless steel pot, making hobo stew, you know, that kind of stuff. So there'll be some of those videos I'll put up. I'll show my little setup. So, but I wanted to talk about it ahead of time so you can have an idea, so you're not like, man, you should have told us about this before, now you're showing us cooking on it. Well, look, go find you a used 2i burner grill now. Get you a flat iron, a circle flat iron griddle or skillet, whatever they call it. I don't like the oval ones, you know, if you like that, whatever. But you could even get 2 of them and do it on both sides. You could put 4 hamburgers easy, or 5 hamburgers really tight on one of those griddles, and put it on a 2i burner stove, and it works perfect. So there'll be some grilling. Let's see what we got here. It is time for me to get back to work, people. Hope you had a hot biscuit too. I got coffee, got Twix. I got a plan. I'll be hitting Walmart later and seeing about doing some grilling. And I'm gonna get out of here. Everybody be careful. And man, you can't rely on that GPS. I told you, Streets and Trips. 2002 is I think is the last one with discs. You can buy that used probably off eBay. But software is kind of tricky. You don't want it scratched up. You want to make sure it's not a blank disc or they end up ripping you off. But Streets and Trips 2002 is a good one. 2005 is, I think, a program you have to download from the internet to your laptop. But it's good, and it has updates on newer roads. It's not going to show you low bridges because it's not for trucks. Trucking GPS software is a lot more expensive. No reason to use that. You know, you can use Trucker Path, and you can use your map book to find low bridges in your sector, or tunnels if you're running hazmat and you don't want to run through there. So anyways, y'all stay safe. I'm gonna get off this thing. I hope this was informative and helpful. I hope you check out the Coleman grills. Now there's other ones. Oh, I will tell you this, I wrote down a couple of other grills real quick because I was doing a search for a couple of them just to see. All right, if you want to go to Walmart and you're just dying, or whatever store you get it at, one is called a Grill to Go X200. It's an infrared small propane with a scraper thing because it's hard to clean those grates because of the way they make the grates. It's supposed to be better for the food, but everything gets trapped in the grates. It's nasty. A lot of cleaning is what it is. They'll even tell you though. But Grill to Go X200. It's a little square grill that the legs fold up under it, and they're just little short legs, and it'll fit in your side box. It's got a lid. I don't like them because of, like I said, it's not my suitcase. It's not what I got. There's one by Coleman that is a suitcase type that has the wings that, you know, flip out. One is propane. The new one is propane. There's nothing wrong with that if that's what you want to use. And then there's another one by Weber. Everybody likes that Weber one, but they say that it won't hold a low simmer. It will burn stuff real easy. So that Weber grill thing. So, and you can buy a griddle that goes on it, but it's a special one. Don't have a handle. You can't take it off of there. You have to wait till it cools off to take it off there. So what if you had a fire and you wanted to pick it up and move it? Well, you can't. So your glove would catch on fire. So I don't think that's great for me. Might be good for you. But it has high reviews on it, and if you're just looking to grill a steak, you could, you know. But it's full on, it's a grill on one side and you can put the griddle on the other, but it's not made to work like a 2i burner stove. So, and they're not getting in my shot. You get nothing. I don't give airtime. I'm sorry, but yeah, the grimy drivers. Anyways, so look, y'all stay safe, and I'm gonna get out of here. I had to do that. This is my show. Like I said, the Grill to Go X200, or the new Coleman, or the Weber. The Weber has the issue, and see, that's the thing too. There's no plastic pieces too much, you know, to the Coleman. The older Colemans have none. The newer Colemans, I don't really know, but I don't think they have too many plastic pieces that could get hot and melt. The Weber looks like it's got some plastic pieces to the knobs and stuff, but I don't know for sure. And they do have a problem with simmering. So if you're looking for a grill like I said, that's the problem. You put that money out, you're better off buying a used 2-eye burner and getting a flat griddle, or even a full-on iron skillet with the lip on the side, so you can make whatever you want in it. You know, I'm gonna get off this. Happy grilling. Have a good time trucking. Y'all stay safe, and I'm out. Peace.